the ball over twice. What was the bigger headline for you, Nick? The Bears win or the Eagles loss?
The Eagles loss. Because I have a lot of respect for what the Bears are doing and what they're building. I know Wilds might be like wildly offended by this comp, but I feel about the Bears very similarly to how I feel about the Patriots. Like, this is an awesome 2-year leap in 1 year with the new head coach, with the young quarterback you're building around. They have one's 9-3, one's 10-2. They've done it very different ways. Mm-hmm. You know what? But I don't view either of those teams as likely. They wouldn't be. Neither one of them would be one of the first 6 teams I would list as going to win the Super Bowl. And I know you might disagree on the Patriots part.
Once you go into Philadelphia and win, though, I think it's
no, and
gotta just
again. And so I just and so I'm saying the same about the Bears Patriots. Like, I just think probably a little soft schedule, but a couple good wins, whatever it is. To me, the story is Philly losing a game. You can't lose the way they lost it. You can't lose that game because Ben Johnson just runs all over you. You can't lose KW. This is what I thought was going to be your focus. We spent more time on this show talking about Ben Johnson mocking the tush push than anything than we've talked about the Stanley Cup Finals in the 8 years the show's been on. And the Eagles got the ball taken from them on the tush push. And if you were listening to the broadcast, this was the other stunning piece of it that maybe we should talk about more later this week. Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit saying, we think Jalen Hurts would vote against the tush push. Did you guys, if you guys had the sound on, if you were listening, He was like, it was really interesting listening to Jalen talk about it. He made it very clear, I was great at it before they started pushing me. And then Michaels says, I think that if it were up to him, the Eagles would be one of the teams to vote to ban it. So, like, the play they love more than anything, they get the ball taken from them. The broadcasters reveal the quarterback don't even like it. The offense isn't working. Like, I think it's fair to be worried about what the hell's going on in Philadelphia, bro.
I think a lot of your points are valid. It is a big story both ways, but to me, the bigger story is the Bears win. Because I just did not believe in the Bears. Like you said, their schedule was weak. Yep. Caleb's not playing great. He's doing fine, But I think now, like, I felt like the Bears were the third best team in the NFC North. I thought the Packers and Detroit were on a different level than them. Now I'm feeling like, you know what, Detroit is probably going to be the team out in that division. Now, they play each other, so, you know, they can determine their own fates. But I think now, while I would not expect the Bears to get to the Super Bowl, going into Philly, as you said, with the Eagles coming off a tough loss, with them knowing their history of, man, we can't let this thing keep rolling like this or it could be 2023 all over again, and getting that win. And the thing I like about the Bears, Greg, they don't go as Caleb goes. Like, the good thing about him, he does not turn the ball over. I know he had an interception in this game, I think another turnover, but he does not generally turn the ball over. So he might not throw for a ton of yards or touchdowns or anything, but they can move with him because he's not committing turnovers. And if he does make some big plays, even if he's having a bad game. And so if he does have a really good game, it takes them to another level. And so I think they impressed me. I mean, I was not expecting them to win that game, especially in dominant fashion. So that was the bigger story to me.
Yeah, it was definitely a big story the way they were able to run the ball. But it's the Eagles. Like, the Eagles' defense had been playing lights out. Yeah. And completely got bullied, manhandled at the line of scrimmage by this Bears offensive line. And again, the Bears can run the ball better than almost every team in the league, with the exception, I mean, they're second in rushing. But when you watch the Eagles, like, we already knew they had issues offensively. Now you're telling me if we run a zone run game scheme against you, the Rams did it and had great success, then now they end up losing that game, but they had great success running the ball. The Bears did it and just continued to do it, and they weren't gashing them for like 20, 50 yards. It was like 8,
chunk.
9, 6, 9. Like, that is alarming.
All right. I want to address this directly because heading into this contest, I explicitly stated that if the Eagles were to lose, the predominant narrative would center on their failure rather than the Bears' success. That's simply the nature of sports media. The Eagles are the reigning Super Bowl champions who have, by their own admission and by visual evidence, failed to perform at a high level this season. They have accumulated victories, but their performances have been underwhelming. Their offensive execution has been chaotic. While one could argue their defense has been stellar, that unit was subsequently dismantled in the second half by the Cowboys and torched by the New York Giants and Jackson Dart. It's been an inconsistent, erratic campaign for the defending champions. Therefore, the focus naturally shifts to their struggles. I observed a comment just prior to viewing this clip alleging that the Bears are being disrespected, that the discourse is unfairly about the Eagles losing rather than the Bears winning, and framing this as disrespect. That perspective is misguided. It's not about disrespect, it's about logical narrative weight. It's how the ecosystem functions. When the Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Dallas Cowboys, the larger story was the Chiefs' defeat, not necessarily the Cowboys' triumph. That's the reality. Not every analytical angle constitutes an affront. For my own part, I enjoy this mental exercise of weighing narrative significance. I appreciate when commentary forces you into a definitive stance, compelling you to answer the question directly, as that fosters substantive conversation and entertainment. In this specific instance, my evaluation is unequivocally a 50-50 split. It's very much a balanced perspective, similar to the discourse following last year's Super Bowl. What was the more significant story, the Kansas City Chiefs losing and being dominated, or the Philadelphia Eagles dominating the Chiefs? I believe it was both. The reality is you can perpetually examine these events through different frameworks. You can credibly assert the Eagles lost this game, or you can credibly assert the Bears won it. Both viewpoints hold validity. This is why I consistently emphasize the multitude of lenses through which we can analyze outcomes. They can simultaneously be correct. Often, I'll probe further. Which lens is more appropriate in this specific situation? Presently, for me, it is absolutely a 50-50 proposition. This balance is especially pronounced given the Bears' current status as the #1 seed and their monumental turnaround from last season to this one. That transformation is itself a massive story. These victories are not flukes or accidents. Furthermore, you are not even witnessing the optimal version of Caleb Williams. You simply are not. In my assessment, Caleb has performed at a level ranging from adequate to good this year. He has not been great. He has not been elite. He has not been spectacular. And yet, the team is achieving this degree of success. That is remarkable. That is a direct testament to coaching. When a franchise is constructed upon a foundation of elite coaching, it possesses immense resilience. Provided you don't have a catastrophically bad roster or a disastrous quarterback situation, you will win a substantial number of games. When you combine a sufficiently talented roster with a competent quarterback under such coaching, you become a perennial Super Bowl contender. That reality in itself becomes a major narrative. Consequently, defeating the Eagles at this juncture is not particularly shocking when you consider Philadelphia's current form. The Eagles' offensive ineptitude is not surprising. What you could find surprising is the sheer dominance of the Bears' ground game against that Eagles' defensive front. And it was impressive, but not when you consider Ben Johnson as the orchestrator. If this were the Pittsburgh Steelers pulling this off, I might react differently. But this was the product of Ben Johnson's design. This wasn't a simple case of bullying. I won't replay this specific clip as I've highlighted it multiple times already, but this victory wasn't about the offensive line physically overwhelming the defensive line. Characterizing it as such actually does a disservice to the Bears and insufficiently credits the coaching. Some believe saying they bullied them is a compliment, but from my perspective, it's reductive. You have it backwards. This was a brilliant, meticulously crafted game plan. This was brilliant play calling. This was brilliant schematic design. This was the football intellect of Ben Johnson on full, magnificent display. That description is far more profound, resilient, and meaningful than merely stating the Bears bullied the Eagles. Do not misinterpret the nature of this victory. Therefore, this becomes a massive story in its own right. The ability to control a game from start to finish while your quarterback does not play an exceptional game. Yes, Caleb Williams made a very nice touchdown throw, but he was not great. He was not spectacular. He was not elite. The story of the day was not Caleb Williams. The story was the 47 rushing attempts for a monumental yardage total. It was a Ben Johnson special. This provides accumulating evidence of his excellence and what he brings to this organization. I told everyone when Ben Johnson joined this team, this is Ben Johnson's team. It is not Caleb Williams' team. It is not any single player's team. This is Ben Johnson's operation. He is the Chicago Bears' identity. If this team were to falter, if they were not winning, the calculus would be clear. Ben Johnson would remain. Caleb Williams could potentially depart. This is the Ben Johnson show. Frankly, this is a superior organizational position. It grants more resilience and longevity. Being less dependent on your quarterback performing at a spectacular level is a strategic advantage. The potential ceiling is immense. This is precisely why a coach like Kyle Shanahan can achieve success with Brock Purdy or Jimmy Garoppolo. It's why Andy Reid won with Alex Smith, Donovan McNabb, and others before Patrick Mahomes. Bill Belichick's system proved more quarterback-reliant. Post-Tom Brady, the results have not been the same. Sean McVay has demonstrated an ability to win with Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, and others. Obviously, a coach's ceiling elevates with a superior quarterback. Andy Reid with Mahomes is better than Reid with Alex Smith. But when you possess a coach capable of devising winning strategies in myriad ways, you are positioned for sustained greatness. Conversely, if you are excessively quarterback-reliant without a transcendent coach who can elevate the entire operation, your best-case scenario often resembles the Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens, or Cincinnati Bengals. How has that paradigm worked for them historically? Not optimally. That speaks volumes. For me, this victory serves as the ultimate exemplar, the absolute home run. If you are a supporter of the Chicago Bears, this is what you should celebrate and build upon. This was a massive, unambiguous demonstration that coaching matters profoundly in the National Football League, and that you currently possess one of the very best. Simultaneously, you observe the Eagles and see a perfect case study in why coaching matters, and the consequences when it is lacking. That, in essence, is the definitive answer. That encapsulates everything. But these are simply my reflections. I would be absolutely delighted to hear your own. What are all of your thoughts concerning the Chicago Bears? What do you believe was the larger story, the Bears' victory or the Eagles' defeat? Let me know your perspectives in the comments section below. I read every single comment. So whether you find yourself in agreement or in vehement opposition, let's engage in some dialogue. Let's have some spirited debates. But ultimately, let's ensure we are enjoying the process. And please do consider subscribing. We are in the process of cultivating a phenomenal community here, and would absolutely adore having you as a part of it. My goal is to build something to which we all feel a genuine connection, something we are genuinely thrilled to be involved with. I believe we are making significant progress toward that objective. Also, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it genuinely assists with its visibility within the platform's algorithm. Thank you so much for your time and engagement.